today's managing relationship challenge. Okay, we're gonna learn managing relationship challenge. Learning object: identify and explain the challenge that individuals involved in interpersonal relationships must navigate to be successful. So relationship and communication challenge, we're gonna learn here. And describe the issues that constitute the dark side of interpersonal communication and those that constitute the dark side of interpersonal relationship. You can explain the process of a relationship, the escalation and termination, including strategy for terminating and recovery. Okay. Language: misunderstandings, basis, perceptions, misinterruption of nonverbal cues, weak listening skill, destructive conflict style, and inappropriate self-disclosures. All of these factors can also negatively affect interpersonal relationship. Interpersonal communication also has a dark side, and that it can be used in ways that are detrimental to others. Relationship and communication challenge. The movement toward an intimate relationship doesn't always just go smoothly. So we learn violating expectations, understand the relational expectation and violations. Relationship expectation can be classified according to their social origin, their relationship origins, and their severity. Socially based expectation. So, if you have experience for what it means to be a best friend, for how you should be treated by romantic partners or spouse, for how an opposite sex friends behave toward you, and so on. Violation of the socially based expectations arouse uncertainty and produce emotional reactions such as hurt and angry. Relationship-specific expectation. You and your partners also developed sets of implicit and explicit expectations and understandings specific to your relationship. Implicit understandings represent an unspoken compact between partners about the relationship and each other. Explicit understandings are stated compact and agreement. Your boyfriend or girlfriend is seen on a date with your best friend. Each of these violations represented a failure event or transgression. An incident marked by the breaking of relational understanding or agreement. Effective management of a failure event or transgression can clarify expectations. For example, make a implicate expectation explicit, as well as classify the relationship. Severity. The most severe violation can have a traumatic impact on a relationship. For example, because a defining characteristics on intimate romantic relationships is often sexual fidelity. Cheating on one's partners is considered as a severe moral transgression and often leads to the termination of the relationship. Severity in feelings of hurt also appear to be reduced when a violating partner has been providing high amounts of affections, communication, verbal and non-verbal methods of love, support, and fondness. You can strengthen your relationship by being other-centered. Responding with a discussion. The process of addressing failure events often follows the reproach account pattern, in which both partners must make a number of decisions. Okay. Reproach is a message that indicated an expectation has been violated, pointing out a failure event. Reproach. Reproaches are usually direct statements, but they can also be conveyed indirectly through hints or nonverbal messages. For example, if you are upset that a close friend forgot your birthday, you might act cold and distant or speak harshly. Okay, account. Account means response to a reproach. The response to reproach is called an account. In the preceding example, the nature of your reproach affects the kind of account. Kind of is like to provide. She is Sally. Had she realized her failure, she might have provided an account preemptively before you reapproached her. Apologizing as you arrive late at a friend's house for dinner is more likely appease the irritated friend than acting as if you've done nothing wrong or apologizing only after being reproached. Accounts typically take one of the 5 forms: apologies, excuse, justification, deniers, absence of an account, or silence. In developing your account honestly and objectively, consider how much you are the blame. Adapt a more other-oriented perspective by considering the reproacher's objective desires and feelings so that you can understand his or her reason for reproaching you. Regardless of the legitimacy of a reproach, the person's feeling and reactions are real, and you must determine the most appropriate response. Sometimes simply admitting your failure and making a genuine effort to correct it is the best account. Responding with forgiveness. Communication scholars Vincent Worden and Douglas Kelly suggest taking these 7 steps to achieve forgiveness in a relationship. First step, confront the transgression. The failure, event, and hurt must be acknowledged by both partners. Step 2, manage emotion. Emotion must be acknowledged, expressed, and accepted by both partners. Number 3, third step is engage in sense making. Engage in sense making. Both partners need to understand, empathize. Ideally, the wounded partners feel what the transgressor felt and understand the reasons for the transgression. Step 4, seek forgiveness. The transgressor requests forgiveness, offers an apology, express regret, and acknowledge the other hurt. We need to seek forgiveness related to how much guilt we feel, which is affected by our sense of responsibility, the severity of the transgression, and our continued thinking about it. Step 5. Grant forgiveness. Forgiveness can be immediate or conditional. To manage the wounded partner's anguish, granting forgiveness can be viewed as a gift or show of mercy. Step 6. Negotiate value and rules. Both partners need to clarify, negotiate, and renew commitment to reveal relevant relational rules and morals. Step 7. Transition. Monitor, maintain, or renegotiate. Time is needed to re-establish trust while readjusting to the pre-transgression state. Partners should continue to review and renegotiate rules as needed. Each step addresses an important part of forgiveness process. Some can be further broken down. Whether forgiveness is achieved ultimately depends on a number of factors, such as personality, including the ability to empathize, the quality of a relationship, the nature and severity of the transgression, sincere acknowledgement of a responsibility, and the perceived intentionally and the selfness of the transgressor. Forgiveness is also affected by the history of transgressions in the relationship. We are less likely to forgive our partner if he or she repeats the same transgression. But if our partner forgave our transgression, we are more likely to later forgive our partners for a similar transgression. Deciding to forgive is also affected by the response provided by our confidant. Third part, parties can provide the needed emotional support and validate our view of the issue. Forgiving is more likely when these third parties help us gain a new perspective on the transgression, provide practical advice, and encourage us to forgive our partner. When our confidence helps us to vent again anger, encourage confronting our partner, and or paint our partners as a bad person, we are less inclined to forgive. Responding with retaliation. Relation behavior can include aggressive communication, yelling, accusing, and sarcasm. Active distancing, distancing, giving the partner the silent treatment or withhold affection. Manipulation attempts, evoking the transgressor's jealous or guilt or testing his or her loyalty. Contracting rival and violence. Examine a model of a forgiveness response. Relationship researchers Laura Goro, Guy Bachman create a model of the possible response to transgressions based on the severity of a transgression and quality of the relationship. Okay. Severity transgression is mild, severe, and pre-transgression relational quality is a mixed or negative, positive. The sensitive of okay. Mild is severe. Severe. The severity of transgression. Mixed negative. This positive. Pre-transgression relational quality. Pre-transgression. Relational quality. So considerate response, conditional response, minimizing response, retaliatory response. Conciliatory, conditional, retaliatory, this is minimizing. Response. A positive relationship might compensate for a mild infraction and produce a conciliatory response to hasten the return to rewarding relationship. Mild transgression is a mixed or negative relationship is likely to be discarded as a no big deal. So minimizing the offense. Whether the relationship will continue probably depends on whether the victim has alternative relationship available. The model how to explain why severe offense in an unsatisfying relationship is likely to evoke retaliation, whereas a severe offense in a valued relationship is like to evoke a conditional response, granting forgiveness on a trial basis. Challenging communication. Addressing grief and delivering bad news. Applying strong conforming listening skills, provide support, and engage in comforting communication. Okay. Being able to laugh together over a shared memory can help in coping with other emotions being experienced. Another communication challenge is having a deliver bad news, which usually creates stress for both the messenger and recipient. Bad news is information that is unknown but relevant to the recipient in that the messenger belief will have negative repercussions. Okay. So satisfaction for each strategy depends on the content of a message and the manner in which it was presented, as well as its appropriateness to the situation and its patient-centeredness. To create the most effective message, be other-oriented and considering ways to deliver the information that protect the receiver's face and feelings as well as your own. Strong empathic listening skill will help you respond to questions, address emotions, and provide comfort and support. Maintain long distance relationship. We're gonna learn that. The mobility of today's population means that we are often moving away or being separate for time from people with whom we have formed interpersonal relationship. We tend to think of long distance relationship primarily as dating relationships. However, you probably have all will have a long distance relationship with your partners, spouse, children, siblings, and other family members, with friends, and even with co-workers or clients. While we likely turn to our geographically close best friends for social support more often than our long distance friends. If we feel we really need to, we turn to long distance best friends just as much, particularly for their emotional support. Long distance romantic relationships affect your feeling, thoughts, and behaviors. You feel sadness, separation, sexual desire, and loss. You think about the future with your partner. Wonder what your partner is doing and remains. You want to communicate with and touch your partner, talk about your partner with others, and look at your partner's picture. Likely depends on electronically mediate communication, such as text message, Twitter, Facebook, Snapchats, and video chat, to create sense of social or relational presence over long distance. Wives with a deployed husband reported strong use of electrical mediate communication to help them cope with the distance, even using the internet and the web camera to house hunt, shop, and play games together. Right? The nature of separation. In fact, being deployed as a separation by circumstance while deciding to move to new area after graduation is a separation by choice and may raise questions about relational commitment. Effects of time between visit. Effects on time between visit. Sometimes partners are not relatively close geographically, but limited in how often they come together. The infrequently to face-to-face interaction can have a positive effect on the partners because they are on their good behavior when they got together. Okay. Cost and rewards. We learned that, right? Social exchange theory was used to explain our decision to escalate or de-escalate our relationship. Social exchange theory also offers a way to analyze the survival of long-distance relationship. Distance at the cost to maintaining a relationship. The actual momentary cost, gasoline, airline ticket, and food. The time spent commuting, and the disruption of normal routines, leaving less time available for other activities. Okay? If you need only confident, a long distance arrangement might be acceptable. You might sustain your commitment to a relationship in which you view the cost as a long-term investment. Some relationships continue for a lifetime with a little face-to-face time because the reward of interacting for access any cost. Tensions created by LDRS, long-term distance, cause long distance couples also create tensions when they try so hard not to waste their time together, that they overplay activities, discussion topic, and even sex. The more open and honest you can keep the communication, and more mundane time you can spend together, the more similar your long distance relationship will be proximal one. Relationship, we're going to talk about the relationship that challenges social norms. Okay? The tendency was significantly stronger for the male respondent than for the females. Fortunately, as with many prejudices, actually interacting with homosexuals has a positive influence on the attitude of heterosexual toward them. Regardless of your own sexual orientation, take time to consider your attitude toward and openness to forming a relationship with all people, no matter how they differ from you. The dark side of interpersonal communication in a relationship. Okay? Interpersonal communication can also be used to deceive and hurt people. The dark side of interpersonal communication in relationship is more prevalent than you might think. So we start we study focusing on deception. Okay, deception. Deception. The interpersonal deception theory. Interpersonal deception theory, as developed by Judy Bogun and David Buller, is explanation of deception and detection as a process affected by interplay between the deceiver and the detector during interpersonal interactions. According to this theory, individuals intentionally and strategically manipulate information to achieve some goal, while others listen and evaluate the truthfulness of that information. In other words, one person tries to get away with a lie, and the other person deceives whether or not to believe it. To avoid being caught, deceiver implement deception strategy and monitor listeners' response. Listeners might accept in deception without pause, expression, skepticism, or blatantly challenge the deception. Each listener reaction lets the deceiver know he or her next course of action. So we can check against previous methods of inconsistency. We have more time to examine the message, and the deceiver is less able to detect and contract suspicion. Detection by omission. Deception by omission involves intentionally holding back some of the information another person has requested or the newer is expected to share. Deception by omission can underline decision making. Not disclosing sexual history can prevent one's partners from making informed decisions about the level of risk he or she might be encountering. Although omitting information usually is not considered as grievous as falsifying information, when the omitted information is important, omission is just as deceptive as falsifying. Deception by commission. Deception by commission is the deliberate presentation of false information, lying, the white light, Sometimes you use exaggeration, bald-faced lies. Okay. We talked about reasons for deception. Reason. Why people can be deceptive for a variety of reasons. These reasons can be divided into two general categories: altruistic and self-serving. Altruism, the desire to protect and avoid hurting someone, is a common reason for lying to close a friend. Okay? Self-serving deceptions motivated by personal gain or desire to avoid undesired consequences. Deceiving your boss about why you were late might be attempted to avoid negative consequences. To gain resource to avoid harm or loss of resource, to protect one's self-image, save face, for entertainment, and to protect another person's resource, self-image, or safety. What is effective of deception? Here are some of the more obvious ways deception can be harmful. First, incorrect decision making or actions. Second, harm to relationship. Third, lost trust. Fourth, harm to innocent bystanders. Fifth, additional harms. Communication that hurts a feeling, right? When people discover that they have been deceived, they usually feel betrayed, foolish, angry, and hurt. But deception is only one way in which we hurt people's feelings. As we discussed earlier, truth can hurt too. Truth can hurt too. One of the more powerful aspects of language is that it can cause emotional pain. We can be hurt by insult, criticism, or teasing about our personality, intelligence, abilities, ethnicity, relationship, or sexual behavior. When we receive a hurtful message, we usually try to determine the speaker's intention, which affects how hurt we feel. Sometimes unintentionally hurtful comment can be alleviated with a heartfelt apology, such as, "I'm sorry, I didn't mean it like it sounded." In some intense speakers can minimize that impact by claiming they are just kidding. study of college students in romantic relationship found that close to 88% reported being the recipient of hurtful tease. A hurtful tease means hurtful message, a criticism followed by a smile, laugh, or just kidding. With women reported being teased more than men. However, they all felt there was some degree of truth in the remarks. Teasing was seen as a way to disguise the truth. Okay. We talked about the jealous. We know envy, jealousy, cognitive jealousy, emotional or affective jealousy, behavior jealousies, using as a list of tactic, managing jealousy. Concern about the possible loss of a relationship or significant change in relationship status is neither inappropriate nor unusual. The belief that a friend is spending more time on some other interest implicitly disconfirms us. The implication being the object of a friend's attention is more important than we are. Jealous reflects uncertainty about our value in relationship. Expressing jealousy can arouse uncertainty in a partner, particularly when the jealousy is expressed indirectly through crying or acting hurt or depressed. Directly discussing this situation with a partner and asking for an explanation tends to evoke a more positive response than spying or seeking information from a third party. Sensitivity and responsiveness to both partners' commitment to the relationship can help avoid a minimalized jealousy. So we're going to talk about unwanted attention. Obsessive relational intrusion, ORI, repeated invasion of a person's privacy by a stranger or acquaintance who desire or assumes a close relationship. So obsessive relational intrusion is marked by such behaviors as unregulated self-disclosing, trying to get the other person to disclose, offering unwanted gift, note, calls, and other expression of affection, arranging considerate meeting, and expressing a desire for physical contact. Only a fine line exists between trying to hang on to or pursue a relationship and becoming obsessive. The repeated and sustained display of this behavior after rejection makes it ORI. Relationships are often indirectly or implicitly negotiated, increasing the likelihood one partner will misunderstand the other's intention and interest. Okay? Okay, stalking. Stalking, repeated, unwelcome intrusions that create concern for personal safety and fear in the target. Email, text, tweet, even Facebook, post on Facebook, and even engage in face-to-face conversation. Stalking can be thought of as an extreme form or ORI, although sometimes it is motivated by revenge, not the pursuit of a relationship. Unfortunately, no absolutely safe and effective way exists to hold ORI and stalking, but based on advice from other scholars and professionals, Spitzberg and Cook offer 3 recommendations for responding to ORI and stalking. First, harden the target. Harden the target. Yeah? Keep others apprised. Keep others apprised. You should apprise family, friend, co-worker, employers, school officers, law enforcement officemen of your situation. Okay? Avoidance. That's scholars' advice. Relational violence. Okay. Relational violence also dark side of communication. Anger, frustration, lack of control, and discard for a partner and the relationship, while instilling fear, engage in engendering relation, counterattack, subversion. Okay, next. Relationship de-escalation and determination. Okay? Signs of a relationship problem: less touching or physical contact, less vocal expressiveness, less smiling, interactions don't flow as easily, increased physical distance, less eye contact, increase in time between interactions, less sexual activity, fewer intimate times, decrease in time together. Interactions are more interpersonal, separation of possession, possessions, less time talking on any given topic, less use of present tense, more passive language, fewer reference to the future, more maybe more conflict, decrease in evaluative statement, less personal language, less self-disclosure. John Gottman, who studied the married couple, identified 4 categories of communication behavior that indicate increasing problem in a marriage: criticism, contempt, defensive behavior, stonewalling. Okay, how relationship end? How relationship end? Declining relationship usually follow one of several paths: fading away, sudden death, incrementalism. Okay. Reason for the escalating and terminating. What reason? What happened? Why did the relationship end? In the tradition of a late show with David Letterman, there is a top 10 list in order of increasing offensiveness: nagging your friend, not showing emotional support, not being tolerant of your friend's other friends, not standing up for your friend in his or her absence, criticizing your friend in public, not trusting or confiding in your friend, not volunteering help in time of need, discussing with others what your friend said in confidence, acting jealous or being critical of your relationship. Okay? Okay. The relational dissolution process. In intrapsychic phase, confident phase, dyadic phase. Relational dissolution process, threshold, right? In intrapsychic process. Intrapsychic process primarily evaluate relationship at partner, increase focus on partner's behavior and performance, access cause and reward to relationship and termination acts as an alternative relationship. And assessment warrant movement to the next phrase. Confident process or dyadic process. Confident process discuss and evaluate other. The relationship concerned and options help meeting, reconcile or repair. Dyadic process discuss the dissolution with the partner, provide and justification if needed. Joint assessment. Cost reward. Discuss repair, reconciliation, and termination. That move each other. And then threshold. We reach the point of the deciding to end the relationship. Social process. Begin to make the termination public. Inform friends and family. Change Facebook relationship status. Create public face-to-face serving explanation and story. Spine control of rumors and gossip. Negative impact on partner. Call on intervention. Next, threshold. Finalize the break and re-establish it individually. Grave dressing process. Grave dressing process. Put flower on the grave. Cover pain and hurt. Finalize public story. Create face-saving story. Blame partners, creating negative impression of you. Face loss. Retrospective. Postmodern. Let go of negotiation feelings and move on. And then resurrendering process. Review and adjust perspective on some, others, and relationship. Begin the pursuit of relationship. Identify things to avoid and never against. Okay. Direct termination strategy. Boxer identified for direct strategy the people use to terminate the relationship. Negative identity management, justification, de-escalation, and positive tone. Relationship researcher Ann Weber created a list of a strategy to help address the grief and loss of non-married breakup. This following the strategy. Express your emotion, figure out what happened, realize, don't idealize. Realize, don't idealize. Prepare to feel better. You might be surprised to find yourself feeling relief and joy. Okay? Okay, we're done. Okay, expect to heal, talk to others, get some perspective, and be ready for the further punishment or maybe reward. Okay. Thank you so much. Have a good day.